So thank you everybody and welcome to our flexible working webinar. My name's Sarah from Byte Software Services and we're here today with Alex Hill from Citrix, who is just going to talk you through a bit more about flexible working and how Citrix can help you with their solutions. So I'm now going to pass you over to Alex.
Okay. Hello everyone, just make sure you can see my screen. So just shortly. Hope you can all see that. I think you can. So let's go on with this. Good. So my name's Alex Hill from Citrix. I'll take you through our flexible working solutions. Some of the things we do around flexible working with some of our customers and what you actually need to do as organisations yourselves to go and implement flexible working in your environment. Shouldn't take longer than 35 minutes, and then we'll open up the lines to Q&A, and the session today is being recorded, so you have access to the recording afterwards and also the slides. If you've all used GoToWebinar before, you can ask questions. There's a questions toolbar, which is by default on the right-hand side of your screen. And I think we'll be looking at that as we go through, so feel free to ask any questions as and when they pop up through today's webinar. So, flexible working. So what does that actually mean? Well, you know, flexible working is a broad term, and actually we have a different way of talking about flexible working. We call it work shifting. You know, flexible working means many things to us. Work shifting means a lot more. And work shifting, from our perspective, means moving people to where it's best to work from them. So shifting their workplace, in essence, and it's something we believe in very strongly, to the extent that we very much pardon me, implement it within our business and lots of our customers' businesses, and to the point now where, from our UK office perspective, we are in fact redesigning and refitting our offices to support complete work shifting implementation in the UK. And we already have it in India and many other locations around the world. In fact, all Citrix offices going forward will be based around not anyone having desks or even anyone having offices, but people being able to work from anywhere, being able to sit in different locations and work in different environments, even within our office. And from that perspective, we believe this can help you to transform your business and empower your people to work. But what does this actually mean from a business perspective? Well, it can transform your business because it can mean really people can work from anywhere and they can work at any time that suits them. And it can transform a business to become the type of business that can really help people's work life and balance be better. So you have the ability then to help people work better, work smarter, work more effectively from home, from the office, or from wherever they may be. And this has massive benefits for you in productivity. From those customers that we've worked on in terms of work shifting, allowing people to work from home, allowing people to work from different locations, the productivity of those individuals that have been allowed to do this is significantly increased, and we'll talk about some of those points going forward. But equally, it has massive benefits for your businesses. Your footprint in a state can decrease or can stay the same as your businesses grow. And equally, again, you can get access to talent that's across regions rather than local to your businesses. You can have talent that have no link to a local office but continue to work using a work shifting strategy. Now, as I say, we're a great user of this. And when we look at this and why we do it, we actually went and polled internally in our businesses, should we do this? Should we allow people to work shift? Over and above, it's a solution we can provide through IT. Would people like to do this? Oops, sorry, there's a question popped up, but it seems to have disappeared. So whoever was going to ask a question, I can't see it, so I'll continue. So, what are the drivers of work shifting? Well, we went and asked people in business, like I said, and said, why would you want to implement it in your region or within your team? And the answers came back from our business. Drivers, work shifting, flexible working, well, the first one was cost savings. We could extend our teams, we could increase the number of people in our teams without increasing the footprint of our employees or users within an office. And we've been in the same office now probably for about the last 10 or 11 years at Citrix. It's a place called Gerrard's Cross, if any of you know where that is. And we have not increased our footprint really in this office. Probably I'd say the number of people based in this office has increased by a third or even 50%, but we have not had to increase or invest in any additional space at this office to house those people, because when people come in, they can hot desk, and when they don't need to come in, they don't come in. Equally, it gives us flexibility. It helps the users to, work a bit smarter, to be more flexible in the way they work. And this has other drivers which we'll come on to and we'll touch on as we go through today's webinar. But really, it allows support and it allows those users to work where they are. Plus, it enables mobility. It enables people to work more intelligently from wherever they are, from whatever device they want. So there's lots of reasons, we've done lots of surveys, and there's lots more surveys behind this information, and real estate cost reduction came in, obviously, as we said. HR actually came into this, so if any of you, are working with your HR departments in your own businesses and looking at why should you do flexible working, there's some great reasons around flexible working. Initially, in terms of attracting the right talent. We notice this when we go and talk to graduates, and we go and talk to organisations like yourselves recruiting graduates. And one of the things that a lot of these graduates expect nowadays is the ability to work from anywhere. And it's a really big thing for them. And if you want to attract the best talent, be they graduates or be they, talented people within your own industries and verticals, then one of the things that you can attract people by is the ability for them to work from home and have that work-life balance. Lots of other factors as well. We've got a great index that Bytes can share some information with you about around what we call the BYOC, the BYN index that goes into flexible working, and why it's a great thing to have within your businesses. So many, many more reasons than this, but there's some of the highlights, the high-level ideas of why you're probably looking at it within your businesses as well to attract the right talent. If you have a look at the kind of top-line ideas, though, this work shifting, this flexible working idea, in the first place, we can move work, and we can enable flexible working, teleworking, alternative workplace strategies. So, again, most of our employees, but also most of our customers who successfully put in our products, do have a flexible working strategy. And one of the big ones at the moment that you've all heard of is RBS, using Zen App and Zen Desktop, Zen Desktop to enable flexible working. Because RBS, if you go and look at that case study, and you can send you that case study, they worked out that people were more effective if they work from home, they're more productive if they work from home. From their perspective, that improved productivity, ensured business continuity because, as we all know recently, snow's caused a bit of trouble. Now, for those that had a flexible workplace infrastructure, then they were able to continue working as is, and that's one of the key benefits of this. Outside of just moving people to work and improving the productivity, people can continue to work no matter what is occurring within their businesses. So work shifting enables that flexible workplace, teleworking, alternative workplace strategies. It can lower real estate, labour and travel costs. So, we've kept the same footprint for about 10 or 11 years, even though the number of employees in our business has increased who need to work from this office, but we haven't increased the office size. Equally, for those of you who have lots of office estates, it gives you the ability to consolidate your office space, and we'll show you some examples of that as we come on. But a lot of users don't necessarily need to come to an office to work. They can work from anywhere. They tend to be more task-based, but equally they can do those tasks from home if you provide the right IT environment for them to do it. We can lower labour costs because, if they don't have to travel, they don't have to spend as much. And we can also increase the talent pool available to us if we can hire from anywhere in the country. And equally, we can decrease travel costs both for the company and for the user or the employer themselves. The employee doesn't have to pay to travel to work all the time. Equally, if you can hire people near your customers, for those of you who work with other customers, obviously we'll be selling to customers, or for those of you who work with other organisations, you can actually then place people near those organisations tactically where they're needed potentially as well. And again, like I said, we can attract and retain the very best people. It is a very attractive message for you to be able to go and attract and also retain the right talent. We're seeing a lot more, and I think one of the key things that we're seeing a lot from some of the customers we talk to is that you can actually pay people the same amount as another organisation will pay them, but they will come and work for you if you do things like flexible working. It's a big thing on a lot of people's agenda, this work-life balance, the ability to work from home. I'm sure you're all seeing it to a lesser or greater extent in your businesses, but if you formalise it, if you put the tools in to support it, then you can get the best benefit out of it. So here's some kind of summaries, and again, this is a Citrix slide deck because we are, the earliest adopters of this, and we've adopted it across the business in late 2011, and we're building out our offices, like I say, like this. First place, we asked our employees, what are the benefits of work shifting? Well, from our perspective, it allowed us to work from anywhere. So we weren't tied into a desk or a PC or a laptop where if we needed to do something, we needed to go to the office or get out our laptop and boot up. We could really do things as we thought from whichever device we chose to work from. It increased our productivity. Always great, from any kind of business, from all your businesses, I bet, in that because we could use any device, we could use whatever device was handy for us, we could go and do some work. Now, it sounds a bit strange, but if you think about it, if I have a tablet, and for those of you who have a tablet, it's kind of generally around you at home. If you're sat there watching telly and you suddenly think, well, I need to do something, why not pick up a tablet, log into your system, and do something very quickly, whatever that may be. And it allows us to do that with our infrastructure. Like I said, a lot of these are HR issues. One of them was talent acquisition. If you can say to the talent you've got a flexible working work style, if you like, a work shifting work style, you can actually attract some great talent, and you can probably pay them the same. And some of you may have experienced this yourselves when you've gone out and recruited employees into your businesses, but it actually does play a large part in people's choices. I mean, personally, myself, I would not. I'm not planning on leaving Citrix, but if I ever chose to, one of the things I'd look for is a flexible working environment where I could work from different locations as and when I wanted. Plus, customer service. Very strange. Why would we put customer service in there? Well, it's really about the actual user being able to put in BYOD and other things on top of this, as we'll talk about later, and the user getting a better experience through that, but we'll explain that in a second. But it's really about, we're not dependent upon the endpoint device. We've got a centralized environment to provide a flexible working environment, and therefore it's managed better, it's more stable, it's more available, and the user feels that they get a better customer service from IT. So what do we actually need to change to implement this within our businesses? So within all your businesses, what do we need to do? Well, in the first place, we need to look at the way we organize IT. And, at the moment, we're all kind of owning everything in our businesses, and we are providing everything to everyone: devices, management, governance, strategic pieces as well. We own everything as IT departments within the business, whether you're in the IT department or you're working with them, or you're not even part of them. You probably know this. They're all sat there. They're telling you which device you can use. They're telling you where you can access things from, what you can access from which device or location, on and on and on. They're in full control, and there's no ambivalence. And that's a good way to run it if everyone's going to work from a single point. But going forward, that role is probably going to have to change, and you're going to have to go and invest in tools and services that allow this kind of enlightened IT, as we call it, infrastructure, where all the IT department do in your businesses is they provide governance and they provide a service delivery methodology. So a way or a point that a user can go into to connect back to everything they need. IT no longer provide the device, potentially. They no longer provide or support the workspace. They just provide a portal, if you like, or a service delivery methodology so a user can come in and get access to everything they need to do to work. People are then at the center of the conversation and lead the conversation. So really what that means is your employees now choose where they want to work from and how they want to work, which apps they want to see, and also which data they need to take with them, whether it's within an application or independent of application, also which device they want to see those data or that data and applications on. And we need to do this to enable this flexible working. It's important that we do, because then if we can do this, we can let people not only work from anywhere, but equally choose which device based on their location, based on the task they're going to do, and based on the convenience of those devices that they actually want to use. So that's what we have to do. And just to let you know, this is an index, and this is from last year, and we'll update it probably this year with more information, because this is still a massive topic within our customers, many of which are already our customers at Citrix on the webinar today. But the view is, when we did this global work shifting index, which is a global index of all our largest customers, I think over 500 seats from memory around the globe. Out of all those customers we asked, are you going to put in a work shifting, a flexible working strategy by the end of this year, 2013? And there was loads in the UK and across the world, but 93% of those companies said they would embrace it by the end of this year. Because the benefits are there, they're proven. I'll show you some case studies, but equally you can go and talk to Gartner, you can talk to Forrester, you can talk to all these analysts about, how will this help my business? Now, there's a lot more to that index, and I'm sure the guys from Bytes do have access to that index, but there's loads more data in there. But the key one was, most organizations we talk to, either yourselves on the phone now, but equally, the guys that you will compete with in your own markets are all looking at putting in flexible working, work shifting infrastructure by the end of this year. So if you're not all thinking about it, probably a lot of people you're working with or working against or competing against are thinking of doing it. And that's the kind of thing that's going on in the market. If we look at this, and this is a great survey from over in the US, again we'll update this and go into this year with more recent information that we will be releasing soon. We already think work's already shifted. This is US-based research, but we should be about the same point now in the UK. We tend to be a year or a bit behind the US in terms of these innovations. 50% of employees already work from home, 43% work from client sites, 40% work while traveling, and 32% work at public sites. So work has already shifted, and you probably see this again within your businesses. You probably see people even doing emails, trying to do a bit more than email from their mobile devices, for instance, or taking laptops out and working from laptops, and that's already work shifting. So we're already seeing this work shift happen within businesses. And 90% of those companies that have put in workplace flexibility report a positive impact on their motivation of their employees, their engagement into the business, and their satisfaction in working for that business. So you'll get benefits of cost, estate reduction, estate management cost reductions, but equally you get better, happier, more productive users, which is better for the business. And this is what, this is what will set most companies apart from each other going forwards. Things like this kind of innovative working process will help set you apart from your competitors and apart from other people that you work with or within your own markets. So there's some great benefits going forwards in putting this in. And like I say, we're putting this in, a lot of our customers are putting this in. Equally, if we put in a flexible workplace infrastructure, we can start to adopt and take advantage of other trends in the market. And one of those trends that's really becoming more prevalent at the moment is this idea of consumerization. So, consumerization is happening. If you talk to Gartner, it's the next big wave in IT, and it's going to drive more change in IT over the next couple of years than any other wave. And what consumerization is really about is the consumerization of IT, for the users being able to go out and buy a device, a tablet, for example, or the newest smartphone or the best laptop, and them saying, well, actually, this is better than my company gives me, so I'd rather use this for work. I'm happy to make this investment. I'd rather use this for work than the device they gave me. And if you look at the slide just for a second, you've got enterprise IT from all of you who work in the IT department in your businesses. You provide the best service you possibly can to your employees. But the rate at which consumer capability escalates and increases and improves is way beyond what any IT department, the biggest or the smallest, could ever cope with, because a user can go out and buy a tablet whenever they want. In a year's time, they can buy another tablet, this latest version. They can go and buy probably better laptops than we can provide them, or better desktops than we in enterprise IT can provide them. So what we're seeing a lot of is the gap between what people get at work and what they get at home is increasing. Right? It's not getting any smaller, but what users can go and buy at home is probably better than you, or even us at Citrix in our own IT departments, can provide to the end user. So if the user's got all these great machines, all this great technology, why can't we embrace it? Why can't we start to use that to gain a benefit for our business? And this is the idea of consumerization. And like I say, it's going to be a massive trend. So Gartner reckon it's going to force more IT change over the next 10 years. Now this links directly back into flexible working and work shifting. So from that perspective, you're going to have two great advantages if you start to adopt this piece. One is the ability for the user to work from anywhere, and equally the ability for the user to work from whatever device that the user chooses to work from. And that has massive benefits for your business as well. This whole consumerization point means that we can start to embrace what the users are already doing. So again, coming back to us, we decided to put in a BYOD process within Citrix. And we did a global BYOD index. We kind of went out to our own employees and said, look, if we wanted to work out if we let users buy their own devices bring them to work, would it actually matter to our business? Would it actually matter to our users? Rather than just do it, we went through a process of understanding, if we allowed you to do this, would you want to do it? So firstly, we asked our employees, how many different computing devices do you use on a daily basis? Now, before I bring this up, we probably have, on average, or maximum 2 devices per user. Right, so one will be a corporate laptop, and one will be some kind of work phone, handset device. But if you look at the stats, in terms of a computing device, most users used 3 or more devices every day in the Citrix business. Now, we're only providing 1 or 2. So where are the rest coming from? Well, it's obvious that users are using their own equipment or other equipment at partner sites, but regardless, they're using different devices than the corporate devices to access their infrastructures. Now, I bet if you all did this with your own employees, wouldn't be far behind. Right? There probably won't be to the same extent that we use this in Citrix, but you'll probably find they're using a tablet or using their own smartphone rather than a company phone, or they're using their own personal laptops or home PC, family PC to access something. Even if it's just email, they're already using their own devices to access your corporate infrastructure. With us, it was a huge number, right? It was the majority. Only 36% used 1 or 2 devices, and we can kind of guess that those probably 1 or 2 of those devices were corporate devices, if not both, but the rest were using additional devices that weren't Citrix devices. Equally then, if we go and we asked another question, how many days a week, on average, do you work outside the office? So this is really about which device, and this is really about where do you work. And all linked into the flexible working, work shifting, and the BYOD solution. And look at the stats from this. The majority of our employees work 1 to 2 days outside of the employee plus, outside of the office, sorry, plus. And this told us, well, 2 things. One is they're using their own devices a lot of the time. Great, let's increase that. And secondly, most of our employees are working outside the office a lot of the week. Up to, probably beyond a lot of the cases, 50% of their time is spent elsewhere. So probably a good idea for you to use these kind of questions in your business as well if you want to look at this. Actually work out how many people are already using devices and how many people are working outside the offices. And this is from 2 years ago. So with the rise of tablets, more and more now that the price of tablets and the popularity of tablets, I'm sure if we ran this again, there'll be more numbers of percentages going on 3 or plus users, and there'll be more of our employees working outside the office on this time. And this is when we did it originally, when we decided to go and do a BYOD. The device I'm running on today is a MacBook Air, and that MacBook Air is not owned by Citrix. It's a bring your own device that is funded by Citrix, but actually is not managed by Citrix. I am connecting through to a Zen desktop, a virtualized desktop, to run this webinar. So actually I'm on a MacBook Air, but if I just to show you very quickly, you can see here that I'm actually on a Windows 7 desktop, which is a virtual desktop delivered to me by Citrix. But my device is a MacBook Air that I'm actually sitting on. You can't see that, but trust me, it is. That's all I use, and Bytes guys will know that's what I walk around with all the time. So I hope that gives you some indication. Now, we are probably slightly ahead of the curve in our business because we're an IT company and we have the technologies in place, obviously as you expect us to, but I don't think you'll be too far behind in all your businesses before you webinar today. So there is a question before I go into the what IT needs to do piece. Let's answer the questions while we've got a couple coming in. Let's have a look. So first question from, we'll just pause there. Faz, is it being recorded? Yes. And you can have a copy of the recording and the slide deck, so that's not a problem, Fires. Okay, Katie, we are falling foul of the Microsoft TSCal licenses. Obviously, we can help you, but more Bytes will be able to help you with the question about Microsoft TSCal licenses, so I'm sure Sarah will take that question away and come back to you and help you get through that process. Obviously, yes, Microsoft licensing is there to a lot of extent for Zen App and Zen Desktop. We know it can be challenging to go and work that out, so unfortunately I can't answer the question because we're generally not allowed to comment on another vendor's licensing. But the guys at Bytes, you're in a good place, they understand Microsoft, so they're in a, reach out to Bytes, I'm sure Sarah will come back to you and help you answer that question, but unfortunately I can't answer that today, so sorry about that. Okay, questions coming, I'll answer some as we go through when they're relevant. If not, we'll answer at the end. So what does IT need to do? So to enable a flexible work style, a work shifting infrastructure, to enable then BYOD devices, because that's the next logical step once you put this in, what does IT need to do? Well, in the first place, it needs to quickly provision BYO corporate devices. So whether a device is bring your own or whether it's corporate, but whatever that device is, not just Windows, they need to be able to get applications and data and desktops to it quickly. They need to make sure that corporate intranet applications, web applications and Windows apps can be mobilized and delivered to any device anywhere, anytime. They need to also provision single sign-on for software as a service and internal web applications. Start to deliver native applications for mobile devices because that's the next wave of applications coming. And they need to be able to secure your data on any bring your own device, because you want to enable BYO because it has some great benefits for your business, but equally you've got to be aware of security and compliance around data on those devices. So how do you do that? But in the first point, what do actually users want? Well, users want and employees want easy self-service access to everything from any device. So they want Amazon.com for enterprise IT. Right, they want to be able to go to, now if they just go to this website, just like they go to Amazon on any machine, they can log in and there's their Amazon account with everything they need to purchase things from Amazon. They want the same from enterprise IT because they love that kind of model. So we need to provide that to them. They want to be able to do it from any device, and you put the Apple logo there. iPad, iPhones seem to be the popular thing, but with Android devices becoming more and more popular, outselling iPads in certain regions and in certain handsets as well. But they want that consumerization piece, and they want a single identity. Right? They want to be able to log in once through some kind of portal and get access to everything, but not have to log in again. And this kind of is driven by, the complexity of this is driven by the types of applications we need to deliver. So by the end of this year, only 50% of apps that potentially you all will have to deliver to your users will be Windows-based. The rest will be internal web applications that I'm sure you're seeing in your business. Some will be software as a service applications that you may use. We use one called Salesforce, which you've probably all heard of. And there will be a need to deliver mobile applications, so native applications that sit on mobile devices that are business focused that you need to deliver and manage. So how do we deliver those as well? So we have the challenge of different devices, we have a challenge with different applications. How do we solve this? Well, we solve this by, in the first place, implementing work shifting, putting in a BYOD to empower people in departments, but still protect sensitive information and simplify IT and reduce costs. We can do that. And then we'll get the benefits of employee-owned devices, which are, fun enough, the same with the benefits to just the work shifting piece, but with a bit more satisfaction and the same kind of level of productivity, mobility, and flexibility. But again, we put in BYOD and we ask these questions. So again, we still need the same infrastructure to do BYOD as we do to do work shifting, to do flexible working. So this is a great thing about this whole work shifting piece. It enables us not only to do flexible working, but equally to then start to look at BYOD, and there's some really good reasons to go and do BYOD, bring your own device. In the first place, it generally can work out cheaper for you. So even though you can let the user go and buy their own device and then probably charge it back to the business, and a stipend back to the business, you will still find in most of your businesses that it's cheaper to do that. And we have the figures and the facts to help you. We haven't got them in the deck today, but Bytes can help you with those facts and figures. But why wouldn't you do it? Well, there you go. When we asked why aren't you doing this, organizations expressed high concern with employee and devices around device security, data leakage, and malware. So we need to be able to do this, but we need to keep everything secure. And this is exactly what we do from the Citrix solution for those businesses. And what they've currently got, where you go in, pick up a tablet, you set up your own email account with a local email browser. Well, that gives the user email on a BYO device, but it doesn't satisfy security auditors. So only minority CIOs are convinced that their current mobile security would satisfy an auditor. And that could be your CIOs. Some of you may be CIOs on the call today. I haven't done all the typers. From that perspective, what can we do to help? What can we do to help you to overcome that challenge? Well, this is where we can actually build in the executive piece and help you to do that. So I'll skip on there. And we can help to convince your executives, right? They're the ones who want to do this, probably most in your businesses. For those of you who aren't executives, working with executives in your business, they're the people who want this kind of mobility because they always want to travel, they always want in offices, and they're the ones who are most likely, though, to be carrying sensitive, secure information. But despite all this, 94% of organisations that we went and talked to expect to have a bring your own policy by mid of this year. All right, so there's a great need and a great drive towards BYO, but you've got to do it right. You've got to be able to say, I'm delivering this, I'm delivering a flexible work style, potentially including BYO for those that want it, bring your own, but we are secure. And we have lots of other customers doing this. I'll show you some customers towards the end that are doing work shifting, doing flexible working, but equally with BYO as well. So what do you need in place to put in flexible working, work shifting, and a BYO policy? Because they're the same thing. They enable the same thing. You get the benefits by putting in once. Well, in the first place, you need to virtualize and deliver your existing Windows desktops and Windows applications. Because I'm pretty certain none of you on the call today will be able to move away from your Microsoft environment straight away, nor would you want to. So you need to be able to deliver those to any device. There's a challenge in that, but we can help you with that. You also need to be able to deliver those Windows apps and desktops with a great user experience. So we need to have the ability to deliver this over any network. You want to be able to still let people collaborate and work together. You know, if you enable work shifting, flexible workplace, one of the things you may use or you may find more difficult is the ability to collaborate with each other. Well, we need tools to help with that. We need to make data available to users wherever they are on whatever device they're using, but make sure that data is still secure. So we need something called following data, business continuity, and we need security. So let's dig into some of those details very quickly in the last 10 minutes or so and talk about those pieces. First thing we need to do is virtualize our Windows desktops and our Windows applications. And this is a suite of technologies we have, or what technology we have that has a suite of solutions with it called Zen Desktop, which is about desktop virtualization, about virtualizing desktops and applications, centralizing them in the data center, and then delivering them out to any device over any network. And this is our Zen Desktop solution. So Zen Desktop allows us to pull our Windows 7 desktops, our Windows applications back into the data center, let the user pick whatever device they want from pretty much any location, and then log into their Windows desktop and Windows application remotely. So a great solution. So immediately we can deliver the Windows apps and the Windows desktops very, very quickly to any device over any network. Next, we then need to be able to deliver it over any network. Now we have a technology built into Zen Desktop called HDX, the High Definition User Experience, which gives us a high-def user experience and guaranteed quality service to people anywhere, including real-time voice and video, as it says there. I'm using Zen Desktop today. This is how I get into my corporate Windows 7 desktop. And I use this on our corporate network as I want to know. I use it on my broadband connection, and I even use it on my 3G network to connect to it. And I'm actually talking to you over the Zen Desktop connection. We can play videos, we can do high-end 3D graphics, pretty much whatever you want to do on your current existing desktops, you'll be able to replicate in Zen Desktop by way of Zen Desktop with the HDX, the High Definition User Experience. So we've got desktops, we've got apps, we've got a great user experience over any network. We then need to build in collaboration because people will now potentially be based anywhere and be using any device. So how do we collaborate? How do we collaborate online? You know, face-to-face meetings, but we won't be able to do so easily, so we need to replace that with something. Well, we have a great suite of technologies under our go-to, of one of which we're using today, called GoToWebinar, where we can do simple online collaboration. If we were doing a GoToMeeting, we'd be able to see each other in HD, audio and video, through webcams. We can screen share, we can data share, and we can create project workspaces within that suite of technologies. So we can still collaborate, we can still share data, we can still work on projects together in project workspaces, and we can fill that gap that will be created by mobile working and flexible working, which is that everyone isn't in the same office anymore. It's a gap you will all need to fill because it will be something you will potentially lose if people start to work anywhere. And again, we're a great example of this in Citrix. We work as teams. We don't see each other very often, but we communicate, well, I communicate with my team daily through this kind of technology. So that's collaboration. Follow me data, we have a technology called ShareFile, which allows us to deliver data securely, sync data, read data, preview data, download data onto any device securely. And that's a fantastic solution. It's called ShareFile, and it allows us to sync data up into the cloud or share data from your data centers out to any device, but when it's on the device, it's all secured, it's all managed, it's all maintained, it's all secured no matter what the device, PC, Windows, tablet, smartphone. As you can see there, for more information on ShareFile, you talk to the guys at Bytes. So we can let you take data with you, follow me data, data follows you wherever you are. And this is really good because actually, when you ask the question, what would you rather manage? Some people want to manage devices, but most people want to manage apps and data on the device only. So we give you that choice as well. We can then say, right, well actually on some devices you're going to need a mobile application. And mobile applications are more prevalent in business now. So you've got applications designed for an iOS device that sits and is installed onto the iOS device that you need to secure as IT. So we have a self-service app store that will deliver applications onto these devices into a sandbox on those devices, and we run that application offline. And that is a new technology just announced at 1 o'clock today, so it's hot off the press, called Zen Mobile, which allows us to deliver, manage applications on mobile devices or manage the whole mobile device itself under mobile device management. And again, there'll be some upcoming information on the Zen Mobile technology suite from Bytes later, but that allows us to actually manage full mobile devices if we want, or just deliver native applications to native devices as and when they're required. So that's the kind of technologies. We also have built-in business continuity, allow access to desktops and collaboration, no matter where the user is. We've had some great examples recently in the UK with floods, with snow. We have great examples from our customers around the world, New York, for example, with the storms recently, that don't really stop people. We had some great messages and some great help. We helped customers during the Olympics in London as well, from that perspective, where they're all quite concerned about transport disruption that could occur because of the Olympics, and we're able to put in solutions that help those users to continue to work, by actually just letting the user work from home. And then we come on to the final pieces, but again, security is really important. Well, we are secure by design. So in the first place, our Windows desktops and apps sit in the data center. They never leave. So there's nothing left on the device when they log off. And the following data and local applications, when we do need them, are all encrypted, all managed by IT. So meaning that IT at any point can remove or stop access to those applications and that data on that device when they see fit. So we are secure by design. And this is how we build it up. This is, what do we need to deliver? Our user needs collaboration, collaborative people. They need data, and they need applications on their device. Equally, you need to build a service that lets you build this out, bridge and deliver this infrastructure. And there's a whole suite of technologies we have to slowly deliver that. So I hope that gives you an idea very quickly. It's very high level today. Bytes will follow up to those of you who want more information on how to do this. We've got some great customers out there as well. TD Bank, which is a Canadian bank. They wanted to work shift and do flexible working because the G20 summit was held in Toronto a couple of years ago. And they had a highly dispersed or globally dispersed workforce and had high security and compliance requirements because they are a bank. So they only put in, at that point, our desktop and application virtualization with HDX, all secured, all centralized, and they were able to put it in. They were able to put in a flexible workspace, which lowered their costs, their estate costs, management costs, for example. And they were able to attract and retain talent anywhere in the world. So they have the cost, the IT benefits, and business continuity benefits, as well as the employee benefits. Obviously, we are a case study of this. We do this ourselves. We've already talked about some, you can see case studies out there from Forrester on how we put in BYOD, how we put in flexible working to lower IT and business costs, to enable workplace and flexibility improvements, to aid recruitment and efficiency of employees. And we've already lowered or made cost savings of greater than around 20% and had lower support requests by putting this in. Equally, most of our people choose Macs, and it's just about a personal choice of users. Now from this, one of the things that drove this actually, funny enough, is late last year we were named one of the top 50 best places to work as a business. So you can see what this does. It really makes your employees more satisfied with the way they work. It gives them the work-life balance, and it gives them a great work-life satisfaction. KLA 10 Core is another one, but I'm going to skip through that to a local one, a recent one, which is Tower Hamlets Council. So this is what I was talking about. The London Olympics for them threatened severe disruption to their business because of where they were You know, it was going to be highly affected potentially by any transport issues. They wanted some kind of smarter working initiative, and they wanted to move out of the existing HQ and reduce their estate costs. So we just put in Zen Desktop for them, gave them high mobility, enabled them to save over £7 million annually, and gave them a return on investment in under 2 years. Plus, this avoided them having to go and cut jobs, because that $7 million was a savings they needed to not do that. So pretty much bang on time, actually. I think we're finished. I did have a slide which is obviously not come up, so apologies for that, but I did have a question slide. But what we'll do is, if Sarah's still on the phone, we'll open up the questions while I find that question slide. Apologies for that. I thought I put it in the deck. That's my fault. Sarah, are you still on? Hi, Sarah. Okay, we'll wait for Sarah to come back on. You've seen the questions toolbar. I think some of you used it already. Now's the time for any kind of Q&A you've got, any questions you want to know from what I've just said, anything that's interesting or anything that I haven't talked about, and there's a couple coming in. So let's open those up. Let me read those out in a second. So, first question is, hold on, I can read it. Can you advise the cost savings were achieved and ROI achieved? So that is for Town Hamlets. I can't at the moment. That is a case study, so we can get you access to the case study from that perspective. I haven't got that to hand at the moment. But we'll send you on the case study afterwards. But I didn't put that in the notes, unfortunately, but we'll get that over to you, or Bytes will get that over to you shortly. Okay, no problem. Let me just bring up the right slide, so apologies for that. I thought I put it in my deck, but obviously I hadn't. There we go. If there are any other questions, please ask them now. Or alternatively, obviously, you can email the Bytes team and they'll be able to get back to you with any answers that you don't feel you want to ask today. Given that there's no more coming in, and given that we're pretty much on time to finish, unless Sarah, you've got anything else you want to say?
No, just to let you know, the Microsoft question, I will obviously pass that on to the relevant account manager and get them to get back to you with the with details that you need for that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a question. You've got that recorded. Okay, well, there don't seem to be any more questions, but you've got the tell me more at bytes.co.uk email address, so please feel free to email them directly. Other than that, I'm going to finish there. Thank you very much to Bytes. Thanks to everyone for attending. I guess if Sarah's got nothing more to say, I think we'll end it there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.